Wold Top Marmalade Porter.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. This is from the People's Republic of Yorkshire, and it is the Wold Top Marmalade Porter. Now, I got this from House of Trembling Madness, and the reason I got it was because they were doing a special on local beers. So I ended up, by mistake, don't ask me how, I did actually get two by mistake. I got this stuff, and when I say by mistake, I didn't mean to buy two of them, I just meant to buy one. But I got this one, and I got the Great Yorkshire Brewery, or C84 Brewery, Santa's Tipple. And I had that last night. I didn't review it, I just really fancied a beer, and I thought I can't be asked to, do all the analysis. I just wanted to get a beer down my neck. I was going to see Kevin Bloody Wilson, and I wanted a beer before I went. I was in a bit of a rush, so I just necked it. It was absolutely gorgeous. It was really nice. So I've ordered some more, so watch out for that review. That's a really nice beer. It contains something called Star Anise, which is like a mint anise. Well, would I say? No, it's more like a mint. But it was really nice. It really impressed me. Watch out for that review. That's going to get a good mark. But this stuff was intriguing because it's got on the description rich, dark, sweet and malty. And that's my thing. It is a porter, and porters can be a bit hit or miss. Now, I have tried in the past some really good porters. One of note was the Guinness West Indies porter. I really enjoyed that for some reason. Don't ask me why, but it was really nice. I also tried the Cheddar Ales porter. I can't remember the name of it. It's named after a cave. No, can't remember, but that was really good too. Very impressed with that. And I thought I'd give this lot a go. Now, I've not had anything from the Wold Top Brewery before, but they're quite a new brewery. They've been going since 2003, and they're from a place called Drinkable, which is up right north in Yorkshire, it's near a place called Bridlington, which is like a seaside resort. And the reason I know it's near there is because I went to a scooter rally there years ago. Blimey, this would have been 95 or 96, went to a scooter rally in Bridlington. All I remember about that, it was a long drive, believe me. Obviously didn't try any of this stuff because it wasn't around. One thing I will say about this, and they don't make a big thing about it, is there's a little sort of label here, or a little mark here, and it just says that it's gluten free. But you wouldn't know it by looking at it, and a porter, you know, if you did have a gluten intolerance, you would avoid it, but they've managed to make this gluten free, which is not bad. And one thing I have noticed upon reading this bottle, they've got everything in English and Italian, which is really strange. But there you go. Now, it's quite impressive because it's won quite a few awards, and they're quite prestigious awards as well. It's won a Gold World Beer Award, and it's won quite a few SIBA awards as well. That's Society of Independent Brewers. And they're respected awards. Certainly from me, you know, it does hold some weight that they've won them awards and not some 2-bob award that you pay for, which some brewers do, would you believe. But there's quite a lot going for this at the moment, and as I say, I do like porters, I do like stouts. They can be very hit and miss though. There's very average ones, there's bad ones, none I can think of at the moment, but I remember in the past I have tried some porters which have been not that well balanced. But there's been some really good ones as well. You know, obviously the two I mentioned, some good stouts as well. As to the difference between the two, porter and stout, I really couldn't. It doesn't mean anything in this day and age now. The two terms are interchangeable, and if you brew what you want to call a stout, then it's a stout. If you want to call it a porter, it's a porter. I don't think anybody is going to convince me there is a distinct difference. You may argue about the ABV, but this is 5%. This is strong. This is a porter supposedly. This is stronger than Guinness Extra Stout. So there goes your ABV theory right out the window. But there you go. So let's get it home and let's see what's going on. Right, before we do, just a quick bit about the beer. It is 5%. This is a 500ml bottle. On the back it says full-bodied ale carrying rich rewards. A complex triple hopped fruit. Sorry, I'll read that again. A complex triple hopped rich dark porter with a sweet malty base and overtones of bitter orange alongside hints of coffee and chocolate. Interesting. That reminds me of the sort of description of the Black Sheep stout, or is it the stout or porter that they do? They do an orange, like a chocolate orange stout, I think it is, or chocolate orange porter. That didn't impress me at all, and I'm hoping this is going to be a little bit better. That was very disappointing, in fact, because I was really looking forward to that, and it just didn't deliver them sort of flavours. So I'm hoping that this is, and I don't know if you know, but dark chocolate and orange are two of my favourite combinations. That and mint as well. And I will say about and I shouldn't keep going on about it, but the Santa's Tipple from the Great Yorkshire Brewery, that was really nice. I'm going to try and get these Christmas beer reviews done before Christmas, so that means you may have a chance to get some if you want to try some good beer. But this looks good, and it says it's gluten free. Obviously, it's got coffee and chocolate hints. The porter is certified to have gluten. Yeah, blah blah blah. 20 parts per million. Yeah, that's the benchmark. So if your beer is below 20 parts per million in the measuring, I don't know what they measure, some element in there, then it can be called gluten free. So that's obviously qualifies for that. But yeah, there you go. That's about it really. Looks quite interesting. Let's open it up and see if it is. Right, get it into the glass. Yeah, as I say, I went to see Kevin Bloody Wilson last night, and I tried some more. I went to a Wetherspoons down in Chatham, and I tried some. They had a beer called, I think it was English Lion or something like that. Can't remember what brewery it was from, but it was quite nice, not bad, and it was part of the beer festival, or Real Ale Festival, that is doing at the Wetherspoons now. So if you haven't checked that out, I suggest you get down there. They've got quite a lot of local beer, so obviously you won't be getting the same as me unless you live in Kent, of course, but you know, if you're up north, there's bound to be some good beers on cask. There you go, there it is in the glass. Looks like a porter. Wow, all I'm getting on the nose is roasted malt. Doesn't really smell, I can't get that sweetness. There's definitely roasted malt. There's an element of dried fruit on that, but it's not huge. It's just really all about the malt. And that isn't really that big, to be honest. Oh well, let's have a gander at the taste. Bottoms up. And again, like the Black Sheep stuff, not really getting that orange in there. It's really just roasted malt, so there's definite coffee there. In fact, coffee is the dominant flavour in this. No real chocolate that they mention on the description, and no orange at all. Not getting that at all. That's misleading. They call it World Top Marmalade Porter. overtones of bitter orange. Nah. Certainly coffee. Chocolate. Possibly dark chocolate, dark, 100% cocoa chocolate. It's got that sort of type of bitterness on there, which I do like, I have to say. No, I just can't get that orange in there at all. And I think if I drank a gallon of it, I still wouldn't get it. Oh, that's disappointing. I was hoping to be bombarded with the two flavours of dark chocolate and some bitter orange in there, but it's not. It's just mainly coffee that I'm getting. It's quite full-bodied, I will say that. Definite body to it, and quite nice intense bitterness on the finish, but I feel a little bit cheated. I was expecting some big, well, not big, but they make a big thing about Marmalade, bitter orange on the back as well, and I have to say there's absolutely none in there at all. So it falls down on the description there. It's saying, I'm just looking on here, it says rich, dark, sweet and malty. Rich, yes. Dark, yes. Sweet, no. Malty, yes, but it's roasted malt, and that's quite big roasted malt on there as well. Now this is quite cold. I've taken it out of the fridge. It has warmed up slightly, but it's still I would say quite chilled. But even if I left this, I'm not sure whether I'd get that orange flavour in there or not. Just to be fair, I'm going to let this warm up a little bit and see if there's any more flavours that I can discern from it, because I could possibly be doing this a disservice, because as I say, it's quite chilled and maybe it's masking some of the subtle orange. So I'm going to let this stand for a bit, see what gives. Right, this is warmed up a little bit, so I'm going to give it another go, see if I can get any orange marmalade out of it. It's funny, I was having a discussion today, believe it or not, with somebody about guitar speakers. Now, this is going to be a bit of a deviation, but it's relevant, right? Now, I was given a Marshall cab, which I'm going to do a video about. I was given a Marshall cab, and it contained 4 speakers, which the speakers weren't to my sort of taste, so I took them out. And I put in some other speakers. If you're a musician and you want to know, there were 2 vintage 30 speakers and there were 2 PV Sheffield speakers, which came out of my PV 5150 combo. And the 4 speakers I took out, 3 of them were Celestion creambacks. Now, if you don't know about speakers, guitar speakers, then this is going to bore the crap out of you. But they're quite sought after speakers, and they do hold quite a good price, believe it or not. If you're a Marshall enthusiast, which the person who bought them speakers off me was, then you'd know that how much they were worth, how sought after they were. They were only done for a very short period of time, and they do have quite a nice tone if you're doing a certain style of music, i.e. classic rock or something like that, which isn't really my style. I'm more into the sort of heavier stuff, hence the reason I got the vintage 30s in there. But we were having this discussion. The fella came round and picked him up today. Real nice bloke he was. He came from Forest Gate to pick him up. And we were talking about, you know, speaker sounds and all that, and he made the point, and I agree 100% with it. He was saying that speaker makes and stuff like that, it doesn't really matter about the make, it's how it sounds. People listen with their eyes sometimes when it comes to things like that, and not with their ears. So, getting back to the beer, if I see Marmalade or orange written on the bottle, which it is, I'm going to do my level best to try and get that flavour in there. But if I close my eyes and just took this as a porter, if somebody asked me and said, taste this, tell me what flavours you're getting, the last and didn't give me any indication as to what was in here, what it was supposed to be, then the last flavour I would ever get out of this would be orange. Really can't get that. I really cannot get that. And this is warmed up a little bit. I've left it for another 10 minutes or so. But that orange is just not coming through. And I don't know how many times I've got to say that. There must be a record for me to labour some point. But that was the whole selling point of this. And it's one of the reasons why I bought it, because I thought that'd be a nice twist on it. But it ain't there. So what is the verdict on Wold Top Marmalade Porter? Well, on its own merits, and in a blindfold test, I'd say it was a reasonable porter. It's not groundbreaking, it's not memorable, it's just okay. It's drinkable. That's as far as I would go with this beer. However, the big thing about this, you know, it's called a Marmalade Porter, and it just doesn't deliver on that, which is annoying, because I'm still waiting actually. I'm sure there's one out there, maybe a craft brewer has done it, but I really would like to get the perfect balance of dark chocolate and bitter orange, or even just orange in a porter. But Black Sheep haven't done it, this lot haven't done it, and I'm a little bit disappointed. So yeah, I think I wouldn't say it's been sold under false pretences, but don't buy this for the orange. Having said that, it's a reasonable porter, it doesn't stand out. It was £2.65 from the House of Trembling Madness, and you know, for £2.65 there are better stouts and porters out there. I mean, for example, the Guinness West Indies Porter, you're under no illusions what you're going to get from there. It's quite strong, it's 6.5%, but it's very drinkable, very nice indeed, and I would buy it over this any day of the week. So for that reason, I'm going to be harsh on it and give it a 6 out of 10, but the reason I'm going to do that is just simply because of all the description. It just doesn't deliver what it's supposed to deliver. So yeah, sorry about that, Wold Top. I'm sure you do other good beers, but this one, not for me. But it's still not bad. Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad porter. So if you do, you know, happen to come across this and it's reasonably cheap, or you're up north and this is being sold, then yeah, it's a perfectly acceptable porter. But just don't expect to be getting the flavours that's on the label. And remember, beer is working class champagne.